Namaste, beloveds. This is Mother with Wisdom, and I know it's been a while, but there's a lot going on in our collective spiritual consciousness that is expanding. We see a former president being indicted, and there's so much more that's going on. I've been blocked from Facebook just about every day on restriction. Sometimes I can't even like posts. Sometimes I can't even post stories, like someone else's, share someone else's, let alone post my own. But it is what it is, and this too shall pass. And so I picked up my journal, and I wrote this February 26th, 2019. And I read a few more things, but this called to me, and this was the one that needed to be read today. And so here we go, beloveds. It's called I Am That I Am, the Rose of Sharon. There is nothing new under the sun, and all is vanity. We give birth to many different versions of ourselves. I was then taken to my own two pregnancies, my emotional states with both. The natures of my children, both balanced and unbalanced, reflect my own at the time they were in utero. The tales they are given, Watership Down comes to mind. The photo of the bunny devouring the wolf is symbolic of awakened consciousness, transcending the sadistic mind and the masochistic identification of self, of itself. And I want to pause for a minute and just get into that and break it down a little bit. It's the is symbolic of the awakened consciousness transcending the sadistic mind and the masochistic identification of itself. Let me break that down. The sadistic mind is one that there is nothing new under the sun, and all is vanity, and that plays out on a loop. Okay? And each reincarnation, you're placed in a conscious state of awareness, a unconscious state of awareness, and a subconscious state of awareness that's three-dimensional, that makes you three-dimensional, that keeps you locked on this treadmill, this hamster wheel, thinking all you need to do is grind, is to make it, is to work, is to be beautiful, is to look like this, is to fit in, is to do this, is to do that. And that's your mind. Now, let me break down what your mind is. Your mind are your thoughts and your feelings. And let me break that down a little bit more for you, okay? Your thoughts and your feelings, are they yours? Where'd they come from? Who groomed you? Who programmed you? Who gave you that way of thinking? Who introduced you to that way of perceiving things, looking at something, either with hate or with love or with lust or with ignorance? Who? Thoughts, human minds, human feelings. So, symbolic of awakening means you become conscious enough to transcend, to rise above your mind, your thoughts and your feelings, what someone else is has been feeding you and telling you and showing you their philosophies, their theories, their hypotheses, their truths, their perceptions, their religions, their science. And now you've kind of awoken. Woke. They don't like that word woke, because it means you can see and you can think beyond just the mind. Now that you are rising above just the mind, now you know you have to connect that mind, your thoughts and your feelings, to your heart, your spiritual heart. And see, that's what's going to be your saving grace. See, that's where the Holy Spirit dwells within your temple. That's what you are to guard at all costs. And you don't let your mind override your spiritual heart. It's always there. It's always listening. It's always there for you. It holds everything in its genetic makeup, seen and unseen, since the beginning of time till the end of time. Everything is there. And this is, you need to connect your mind that thinks it's the shit on the stick. Plug it up to your heart. Connect it. Then you transcend the mind and you begin to circulate differently. You begin to heal differently. You begin to wake up and be able to see stuff and be like, that don't look right. That don't sound right. That don't taste right. That don't smell right. That don't feel right. You got to connect that unity. That came up in my last podcast, my last Blog Talk radio show with a very special guest I had named Linda Robinson. And we talked about that. She's getting ready to do a show in her home about Kensho. But if you want to know more about that, listen to the Blog Talk. I'll try to remember to put it in the link. Okay, let me keep going, beloveds, because this is really deep and it's really for this moment, this now moment. Even though, like I said, it was written February 26, 2019. I watched Black Earth Rising yesterday, and so many more things, such as my own process, journey, revolution, cycle, season, age, was again revealed to me. Kate was my Ka, returned home with a scrap of fabric that symbolized her true identity, her bloodline, that which she had known on a psychological, instinctive level, versus the loving ties of everyone she loved and trusted, as well as those she did not. If you don't know again what I'm talking about, I'm speaking about I believe it was on Netflix. It's called Black Earth Rising. It's a very deep movie. And again, it's concerning these times. Spirit wants you to bring this forward to this moment. Okay? The Ka returned home with a scrap of fabric. Her name was Kate. Okay? And in this story, Kate is my Ka. Ka is soul. Soul spirit. Soul. That's Egyptian. Ka and the Ba. But Kate is my Ka. She's returned home with a scrap of fabric. Now, what does a scrap of fabric symbolize to you? My mother used to sew, and she had friends that sewed. And whenever she talked about a swatch of fabric, it was always a square. And in that fabric, it was whatever garment you wanted was going to be made out of. Okay? So, Kate, my ka, returned home with a scrap of fabric that symbolized her true identity, her bloodline, that which she had known on a psychological, instinctive level, versus the loving lies of everyone she loved and trusted, as well as those she did not. Now, not giving away the plot and the storyline of the movie, you really want to pay attention, like I said, because there are gems there. There are diamonds to be mined. There is gold to be mined. There is treasure there to be found in this now moment. Okay? That was seeded long ago. 2019. There was a lot going on. There's a lot going on now. Okay? Everything is connected. What did it say? How we start off? Nothing is new under the sun, and all is vanity. I am that I am, the rose of Sharon. Like I said, pay attention to the seeds and the seeding, and that's done through the bloodlines and what you rise and what comes up and symbolizes what to you. Okay? Let's keep going on. The bottom line was that the woven piece of fabric were the threads that had woven her physical existence. And it was with the unfiction and re-identification of what was found in Earth herself, was the truth found. And this truth was so pure and so powerful that it liberated many. Like I said, go watch the movie again to understand and understand what I am speaking of. Again, the name of the movie is Black Earth Rising. Okay? Black Earth Rising. And again, that square, that fabric, those threads that were woven were her physical existence. But what she found in the earth was her spiritual existence. And that is how she ascended her mind. Okay? And how she connected her mind and her heart. And how she re-identified everything. And was reborn anew in the knowledge of who she truly was. And that knowledge was found in the earth mother itself, in the dirt, baby, in the mud, in the dirt. And the truth of what she found in the earth was so pure of a truth and so powerful that it liberated many. And even when she felt she was alone, she never was there. She never was. There was always spirit guides leading her and protecting her, no matter the tool / being that was used. So now I want you to think about that for a minute. Like I started this with about Donald Trump being indicted. Okay? I want you to understand again, nothing is new under the sun. All is vanity. Where does he fit in that scenario? How is that true to him in your perspective? What do you see? What do you discern with your wisdom and your ways of knowing? The tool, the being, the tool. The tool is a slang word back in the 50s, I think, for someone that's stupid, that's being what we call nowadays a DICK. And so there's so much here. Understand that spirit wants you to know that you're never alone. So as we are transcending our minds and our thoughts and our feelings, there's a lot of ish there. There's a lot of material that's been packed and stuffed and constipated and restricted and tied up and bound and just all kinds of things. And it's time to free that. It's time to let it loose. It's time to liberate it. It's time to let it free, let it go, let it flow the way it was designed to, as a unique expression, as a unique divine expression. Okay? So know that you're not alone. There are always spirit guides with you, leading and protecting you. So never, never, ever be afraid to step out on faith. Okay? No matter what situation occurs, stay true to your instinctual identification. That identification is you are God. If you are one with God, then you are God. There's no separation. There is no you and God. There is you and God as one. One. You have to know that. You have to know that in your heart, in your spiritual heart. Your spiritual heart will show you and confirm it to you each and every time. Okay? But you have to be willing and to be open to connect, to let that flow and pulse through you. That I am not separate from anything in existence. I am existence existing as spiritual expanding conscious awareness in flesh. And although this body is temporary, I am not. It's just like putting on gloves. It's just like putting on clothes. You change your clothes. You have different clothes. Well, God has different aspects of us that he uses. He, she, it uses. And each of us is an aspect of God. And no matter how many billions and trillions of us are, we're still only one. That's a lot for the human mind to wrap itself around. Especially when you got so many people with so many agendas trying to control the narrative. Which means trying to control you. Which means trying to control God. Will you let them? Will you allow them? Will you be shut down? Will you shut up? Will you be silent? Will you act like you don't know? Will you go along with it? Or will you say, that ain't right. I don't feel that. I ain't with that. I ain't down with that. I ain't with that mindset. I ain't with that spirit. That right there, that's separate. That's rebellious. That's not God. That's not of that highest frequency and spectrum that I know exists. But I also know about the lower realms, the depressed, the hell, where your mind whoops your ass, where you burn with your desires, your feelings, your shame, your guilt. It whoops your ass. It keeps you in a cage. It keeps you imprisoned. It keeps you going around like it's Groundhog Day to the same damn thing over and over again. And you be like, why do I keep doing this? I know better. Obviously, you don't know no better, or you wouldn't keep doing it. Give yourself some slack. Start seeing from your heart, from your spiritual conscious awareness, consciously, subconsciously, and unconsciously, that you are not your thoughts. You are not your feelings. Your mind is not your master. And you, the soul, the spirit, are not the slave of it. It is your child. And it needs to be reined in. It needs to be taught, sit, boo-boo. I got this. That's where we are in the world. That's where we are with what's happening in our political arenas, what's happening in our educational arenas, what's happening with our children, be they children or be they adults, be they women getting ready to bear fruit, to have children. This is a hard time to have children in right now. I'm glad I'm old. I am. I wouldn't want to have children, young children. I wouldn't want to be a young mother again in this age, unless I had the wisdom I have now. Otherwise, no thank you. You couldn't give me $1 billion trillion. No thank you. Everything in and of creation was nourished by its mother's womb, and all the waters that existed within, be it the waters themselves or the waters/blood being infused by the umbilicus. This is symbolic of your I am, the fetus, being fed and connected to pure consciousness, and the waters echoing the many consciousness, the chaos found outside of that consciousness. I want you to hold that, and I want you to sit with it for a minute. I don't have much more time on here, but I'm going to repeat that. Everything that I said so far is symbolic of your I am consciousness. The fetus being fed and connected to pure consciousness. You are still connected to the divine. You are still connected to God. You are still one with God. You are not separate. This earth is your womb. You are still connected to God. You are still in the womb. You are still in the waters. Okay? The waters echoing the many consciousness of chaos found outside that consciousness. And when that fetus has developed into an infant child and is born, that cord is cut. And the connection is now presented as choice. What you were being fed is pure consciousness. And that was keeping you whole and holy and growing and developing into the flesh. That's now been cut. You're still not alone. Your spirit is still connected. But that material cord, you're not connected through that anymore. And so now you're presented with choice. True reality. True reality. Earth is a true reality. We can say it's simulated or whatever, but it's our true reality. It's a be it an illusion or what, it's a true reality of what it is. Chaotic limitations resulting in further separation from your true home consciousness? Or do you choose to reconnect with that had no beginning and has no ending? Meaning, do you choose to put your faith in the material world, in that which you see, can touch, and your senses can indulge in? Or do you, in your conscious awareness, choose that which cannot be seen, but which you know you are still attached to and connected to, and is there for you with every step, with every breath? It's your choice. It's your reality to create, to manifest, to magnetize, to turn into matter. Okay? This is your kingdom that you get to come in. Or, thy kingdom come on earth as it is in heaven. Okay? Let's keep going. Which of these two wolves do you feed? Which tail do you grasp in your transcendence and ascendance? You can either transcend and ascend into pure consciousness by accepting you are God, or by accepting you are the sadistic mind and the masochistic self-identity. What you choose, either way, you are still God. And you will manifest along with your collective, your reality. The world womb is in which your I am gets to play its most pure self in whatever role it deems. Be that angel or demon. Be that God or devil. Knowing there can only be one true identity, that of God, which is wisdom personified in all and nothing, and from this truth everything is born. Now I take you to the movie The Passion of Christ, the scene where his cross was and had become too much for him to carry alone up to Golgotha, the place of skulls. And in this moment he was provided with someone to carry it for him. This is the Holy Spirit. This cross, his convictions upon which he would be nailed to. This earthly identity of separation from which he must die and sacrifice in order to be reborn, resurrected, reconnected to his pure, true connection, returned, reconnected to his pure, true connection. We got to be nailed to that cross. We got to be nailed to that Holy Spirit. And I've been watching a couple of videos, especially from the Lion of Judah, and it keeps saying the Holy Spirit is male, calling it a he. The Holy Spirit is the divine feminine principle, beloveds. And if you cannot acknowledge that in your walk and in your truth that you are sharing, then you're sharing lies, okay? Because you need to really understand that which receives and gives birth is the feminine. Thus, the Holy Spirit is feminine. As wisdom is identified as feminine. The patriarchy has a deep problem with the Holy Spirit being feminine. Okay? That's why they call her a ghost. That's why they want to call her a he. And that's why they want to keep the feminine out of the picture at all. It's the Father and the Son. How many fathers and sons do you know reproduce themselves? From this place, I was reintroduced to the tale of Lilith, and I wrote tail, Tail. I got about 5 more minutes, beloved, so just bear with me. She who grew wings, she of the pure consciousness, who moved with angels, others of pure consciousness, and who also alongside Eve watered the earth with her own children. With the Aquarian age once again. That's deep. One being Horus the elder. The pure mother was denied as well as her children, and persecuted by the children of Adam for a cycle, for a season, for a yuga, and then Lilith Kali would transcend time, resulting in the freedom, the jubilee of her children, the Holy of Holies, the King of Kings, the Roses of Sharon, in a golden new dawn beginning with the Aquarian age once again. And beloveds, that was that. One more thing that I'm going to share. It was some poetry in here, but you know what? I won't do the poetry. How do you master the mind and the self-identity? Easy. Keep telling it / reminding it that it is dead and that you cannot eat what it is offering you. Poison apples, Snow White. That you are fed only by the grace of God and you have no need or hunger for anything other than divine grace of the Holy Spirit. That is so deep. And that it may leave its offering at God's feet and measure its importance, its urgency against the vast emptiness, the zero, the goose egg, that which has no beginning and end. Weigh it on the scales of Ma'at, truth and justice. That is not blinded by pettiness of its own burning desires and thoughts, but one aligned with the one divine will that does not change, because it does not even contain time, death, as we remember it to be in our history. The moment time was born, when you were forced out of the garden, the moment you became your mind in a dream state with a beginning and an ending. Mwah. Wake up, beloveds, and return home. And beloveds, that is going to do it. And know that this is the greatest love. And you are never separated from this love. You are never separated from this love. This is what can be flowing through you. And this is the peace that can be flowing through you if you so choose. Or you can choose the chaos, the anxiety, and let the mind keep whooping your ass with its doubts, with its fears, with its loop-de-loop of unoriginal vanities. Or you can realize that you are the creator. You are a unique aspect. And what you carry in your heart is gold, is treasure beyond treasure, is wealth beyond wealth. It cannot be measured. It doesn't have an age. And all you have to do is quiet. Divorce yourself from your mind. Okay? Connect your mind to your spiritual heart. Unite them. Marry them. Have them become one. See through that third eye, the unseen. Use discernment in everything. And know that there is no testimony without a test. Okay? That is your purpose here on earth. To give testimony to the Holy Spirit, of the Holy Spirit. Namaste, beloved. That's it.